Talk to Natali, ... levitating, hashtag Dua Lipa, Annie Brewer via Twitter.
Sydney has two modes. She's either absolutely great, or her world is totally coming to an end. Mr. Jeremy Stump.
People call those imperfections, but no, that's the good stuff. And then we get to choose who we let into our weird little worlds. Sean McGuire, Good Will Hunting.
Good morning. I'm Sydney Schuster, a sixth form boarder from Simsbury, Connecticut, and I want to ask you all a few questions. How do you view yourself? How do you view your close friends? What about the kids in your classes? Those who you don't really know, but if you pass in the hallway, you might greet them. How do you all view me? There's no right or wrong answer to these questions, but simply some thoughts to ponder. I know I sure have. For a good bit of my time at this school, I was utterly and completely obsessed with how other people saw me and what they thought of me. Now, looking back at my life thus far, I know this fixation began far before my time on the Hill. For my whole life, I've been surrounded by very specific types of people. Soccer people, orchestra people, and math people, to name a few. Naturally, I assumed that I too would eventually fit into one of these roles. As the years passed, I tried countless sports, instruments, and hobbies, hoping that one of these endeavors would lead me to find my thing, the thing that made time disappear before my eyes, the thing that I was just so naturally good at, the thing that made me, me. To name a few, I ventured into soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, horseback riding, ballet, tap dancing, swimming, track, cello, guitar, piano, and flute. Though I turned out to be half decent at some of these things, and actually pretty good at others, there always seemed to be someone faster than I was, smarter than I was, or more creative than I was. After taking a lacrosse ball to the head, falling off my horse countless times, and having my private cello teacher quit on me because I was so bad, you can imagine I grew somewhat frustrated. Coming to Westminster, I assumed that things would be different, and I was beyond excited to continue pursuing my newfound passion for field hockey. I had been playing at my middle school for 2 seasons, and after each practice, I loved it more than the last. In August of 2017, I packed my bags and headed off to Deerfield Academy, where I would spend the next few days practicing, running drills, eating, and sleeping with the Westminster girls varsity field hockey team. Fun, right? Wrong. From the moment I arrived on Deerfield's campus, I could tell I was in far over my head. I spent the next 4 days struggling through hours of drills, scrimmages, and awkward passes with senior girls who, to be frank, scared the life out of me. In our off time, we all gathered in the common room of our dorm, gossiping about people who I knew absolutely nothing about, and for those of us who were new, trying to wrap our heads around the foreign concept that was boarding school. Coming home from this camp, I was a bit defeated, but tried not to let this feeling of defeat stand in the way of my trying out for the varsity team. Eventually, tryouts rolled around, and well, I was cut to thirds within the hour. Devastating, I know. Now, with my false sense of confidence deflated, I wondered what it was that I would do at this school, what would be my thing. As all freshmen do, I spent the following month floundering helplessly, trying to find my place at this new school, and above that, worrying constantly about what I wore, what I said, and even who I spent my time with. Westminster, and high school in general, is a breeding ground for labels and assumptions, and as most of us have learned by now, labels are easy. Going to a school with 400 other students, only a few of whom we could be bothered to get to know, we grow to associate people with the one or two things that we know about them. Because of this habit, we are often tokened by what we do, who we spend our time with, or even where we hang out. Over my 4 years here, I have seen this happen to nearly every one of my peers. Once you learn that someone plays hockey, does dance, or runs cross country, suddenly you know everything there is to know about them because that's simply the easy thing to believe. Making this assumption, it becomes a whole lot easier to keep to ourselves and the people that we know because we believe that we already have such a keen understanding of everyone else. In one way or another, we have all experienced the bubble effect that Westy can have on a person. Your problems feel massive, and because of this, the rest of the world feels rather small. It's quite easy to get caught up in stud themes, A-push readings, and who was seen sitting on the quad benches with whom during their free blocks. With that said, it can be quite hard to do things such as pay attention to the world news, take a moment of time for yourself, or go the extra mile in getting to really know the people around you. In a small school like Westminster, it's nearly inevitable for kids to develop a reputation. And the most simple way that this happens is by the activities that we do. If I had to guess, you all may know me as the Eco Team girl, the girl who blows up your inboxes with Horizons emails, or the swimmer, which you likely either caught on to from my undying scent of chlorine or my insatiable willingness to talk about it at every chance possible. While I wear all of these titles with pride, I hope that in the next few minutes, you get the chance to see me in a new light and understand me beyond the labels that I have created for myself. In order to do this, here's a few things you should know. First, I am extremely extroverted. My social battery is second to none, which my friends will testify can be both a blessing and a curse. I have spent many an evening in the library doing anything but work, and it is highly unusual to find me in the dorm on a Saturday night. I love getting to know people, like really know people. I'm not one for small talk, and for better or for worse, I tend to skip right over the awkward phase in my friendships. Because of this, I find myself getting attached to people, places, and things very quickly, which leads up to my second point. I am incredibly sentimental. I'm always one to point things out like our third to last Hill holiday or our second to last Friday in January as Westy students. I often find myself trying so hard to appreciate the moment that I let it pass me by between blinks. My favorite season is spring. My favorite food is chickpea curry. I love 70s music, but in particular, Fleetwood Mac. I have 2 siblings and 1 dog. I live in Kelter House, room 337, with my roommates Alex and Annie. I've lived in Simsbury my entire life. My birthday is October 22nd, and I was born at 6:35 a.m. My favorite subject is English, my favorite show is Gilmore Girls, and my favorite movie is Good Will Hunting. I love to wake up early, but only if I have something to do. I have to drink at least 3 cups of coffee a day, but even more if I want to be productive. When I'm nervous, I fidget with my bracelet, which I can assure you I'm doing right now. I absolutely hate public speaking, but I love taking risks, so here we are. All of these facts, some far more memorable than others, accumulate into about 1 minute and 30 seconds of me. For many of you, that's more than you ever needed to know, and I'm sure much of it went in one ear and out the other. No hard feelings, though. However, on the off chance that I did just gain a new association in your head, even if it is the chickpea curry girl, then I'll take it as a win. Now, in a traditional chapel talk fashion, I want to pass on a lesson that I have come to learn and to challenge you all as I continue to challenge myself to apply it into my day-to-day life. Starting now, try and recognize how you see people, both your friends and those who you don't know as well, and try and move past the labels that you have created. I guarantee you'll learn you have a lot more in common than you once imagined. And finally, I want to leave you all with something that I was far too naive to understand 3 years ago. Getting caught up on having a thing is not worth it. Do what you love, but don't be afraid to branch out. Get to know your classmates, your teachers, your coaches, and even your close friends. Like, really know them beyond the surface. It can be scary, but weigh the risks against the rewards, and then take the risk anyways. Thank you.
We're good. Just checking the mic on.
It's
Oh,